Welcome back to the Institute for Business Growth and the Sales Accelerator Workshop. In this module, Module 8, Lesson 2, we're going to talk about how to communicate your value. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about who you're going to communicate it to, but let's get clear on our value first. There's two or three different downloads you can do in this module. One is obviously the presentation itself, but I've also included the referral form. I call it an account profile that I give all my referral partners. It talks about what I do, what I excel at, why I'm different, who I'm looking to meet, and the problems that I solve. I give that to you as a frame of reference that you can use. Now, the reason I do that is because most networking, when you leave a networking event, you're on to something else and you forget most of what you talked about. So the intent is to try to keep the discussion, one, pertinent, purposeful, and two, if they have questions, they can go back and refer to your account profile sheet. So I call this networking with purpose, and it's based on the 6 questions that we discussed in communicating value in Module 5. A quick review. They want to know what we do. Remember, we're not bookkeepers or accountants or finance professionals or insurance sales reps. What we do is the outcome that the customer experiences when they work with us. As a reminder, I help companies grow sales, increase revenue, and shorten the sales process. How we do it is not really important. What they're interested in is why is it important to them? So not only do we help grow sales and increase revenue, we put you back in control of the revenue generation portion. We talk about the problems we solve, who our ideal customer is, some existing customers, and some pain statements. So let's take a look at a given situation. We can ask for referrals from our existing customers at the beginning of the sales process, after they've signed the order, after the project's completed. We should be asking many times throughout the process. In this particular situation, I just want to talk to how we create a new referral relationship or get an existing referral partner who's not producing to become more productive. So what I want you to do is I want you to teach them this process that I'm going to show you. First of all, let's talk about what a referral is. A referral doesn't mean that they have a problem that you can solve for them. That's what most people think a referral is. In my definition, a referral is when someone is willing to take your call and they know why you're calling. So if they know that I help companies grow sales, increase revenue, and shorten the sales process, they're going to take my call. It does not mean that they have a problem that they need my help with. It just simply means that they're open to a discussion. That's where the sales process begins, because it's much easier to get the ear of somebody you've been introduced to than it is to cold call, direct mail, or using a variety of other marketing tactics. So let's talk about why a referral is important. A referral is extraordinarily important because it reduces and shortens the sales process. Remember that transfer of trust we talked about in Module 1? That trust is being transferred to you, so it accelerates the relationship building process, assuming that you do it right. It also finds qualified opportunities or qualified prospects to begin filling the pipeline. Somebody may not have a need for you now, but they may in 6 months. The longest referral I think that ever took to mature was probably 3 years, but it turned out to be a very good referral for me. And your referrals partners are extensions of your sales organizations, and you need to manage them as if they're sales reps for you. Now, I'm not talking about managing them in terms of how many cold calls are you making, how many people are you introducing me to, but you want to stay top of mind, make sure you can help, make sure they can help you. So let's do a quick review of the 6 questions. Module 5, what do you do? In my case, I help companies grow sales, increase revenue, shorten the sales process. Why is that important? Because I put you back in control. Why are you the right and safe choice? And that's a little bit longer of a discussion. What do you do better than anybody else in the world? And many times when somebody asks me that question, they're saying, why should I hire you? And I always answer with this question. Do you want to work with the person who read the book, or do you want to work with the person who wrote the book? Most of the times that puts that differentiator question to bed. Why is that important to me? Because it implies there's credibility, there's logic, and then I can help them get results. And then lastly, prove it. And what I do is I send them to my website to see a list of testimonials that my clients have provided. That's what your referral partners are looking for from you. They want you to make it very easy for you to educate them on how they can help you. Don't make them work. Don't make them think. So how I use it. The first part of my profile is companies and industries that I've done business with. Now, I very rarely list companies unless it's something like Aflac or whatever, because that's so big. But in my local market, there's a lot of business owners that I know that people would love to meet. And in my early forums, I used to put companies down, and I was dodging introductions because there's some people that I'm just not going to do an introduction to. There's no reason for it. I didn't trust them, whatever the reason was. So I would encourage you to use industries and not company names. What are the problems you solve? Create a list of what those problems are. What are the pain statements that your clients are going to state that makes it easy for someone to recognize it? Oh, I'm not meeting my goals. I'm not meeting my numbers. I can't handle objections. I really wish I knew how to handle think it over, and I could go on and on and on. And then who are the centers of influence that you want to meet? In my case, it's accountants, business accountants, not necessarily people who do taxes, but business accountants, business bankers, because they're dealing with the numbers of their clients in terms of when they want money, they got to justify how they're going to pay it back. I'm looking for organizations that have lots and lots of sales reps. For example, Aflac, health markets are good examples of those kind of introductions that I'm looking for. Business owners that would like to grow sales but not sure how. They're getting their business ready to be sold, and we know the higher the value, the more it's worth. Those are all great introductions. So some of the triggering events I talk about: if a sales rep gets fired, if a sales rep gets hired, if a company is acquired, if there's changes in the management team. There's all kinds of very interesting triggering events that would justify a discussion. Testimonials, as I mentioned, I've got a boatload of testimonials from my clients, and I put a few key ones on this form. And then I give a very brief introduction of the product and why we're different. And one of the things I talk about in terms of why we're different is that what I tell everyone that I network with is I don't really care about results, and I watch their reaction. And it's interesting because everybody thinks it's about results. Well, it is, in my case, indirectly. I'm more interested in the behaviors that lead to results, because if we get the right behaviors, the results will come. The other thing that's the reason behaviors are important is that when I leave an account, if they're doing the right behaviors, they'll continue to get the results. If I focus on results and not behavior when I leave, what I found is that companies have a tendency to resort back to their old behaviors. So those are all the things that I educate my referral partners on. So let's look. Some of the problems I solve: they want to spend less money on marketing. They want to convert more leads into customers by having a better trained sales staff. They want their current customers to buy more, and they want them to buy at a higher dollar value. Many of them want to spend less time at work, and they want to spend time with their family. I had one, he's been a client now for about 10 years, but he hired me, very successful in sales. He was closing about 50% of his opportunities, and he did about $1.4 million in business when he hired me. And I asked him, I said, those are pretty good numbers. What are you looking for from me? And he goes, I want to spend more time with my family, and I want to be able to sell more at a higher value. And I said, well, can we sell more at a higher value? Can we actually qualify better so we're talking to less people? Would either one of those situations work for you? And he goes, both would. At the end of our initial training together, his close rate went up to about 80%. He closed about $1.8 million. And what's interesting is that he didn't use the time that he saved to spend time with his family. He used it to take on more responsibility at work because he got promoted to a sales manager. So I helped him with the sales manager, and he got promoted to GM. So I'm coaching him through the GM role now. Each time we're trying to teach him how to delegate so he can get time back to spend with his family. A lot of reasons people hire me, believe it or not, is they want somebody to help them create a plan and hold them accountable for implementing it. One of the things that business owners and sales reps don't do well with is accountability, and they know they need it, and the good ones want it. So who are the centers of influence? I mentioned briefly accountants that add value, lawyers who deals with business owners, companies that have many reps, PR, marketing, and advertising firms. Sounds a little bit strange, but if a marketing company is generating leads for a customer and the customer is not closing those leads or attracting those leads, the marketing company is not going to keep them as a client. That's why a PR marketing company is a good introduction. Chief financial officers, they know the money, they know where the problems are. Business owners, vice presidents, directors of sales, and insurance brokers that sell group plans to business owners. Great introductions. This is how I want you to know your business. This is how well I want you to understand who you need to meet when you're networking. So when I ask for a referral, I ask when the client is most pleased with the decision. That's usually just after they sign the order, or when the work is done and they've gotten the results that they've wanted. I also have them do it when they sign the contract, and I actually ask them, I have a process that I go through when I'm meeting with somebody, a client, even another referral partner, and I ask them who do they want to meet so that I can provide value and generate referrals for my referral partners and my customers. So here's the action step. Take the quiz, review Module 5. I really want you to understand how you're going to communicate your value. Use the template that I gave you, Ron's profile, and build a networking form that communicates your value very simply and easy to your referral partners. And then make a list of all the types of people who you're calling on and see who knows those people. I call that the center of influence, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next module. How do you identify that golden goose that can keep on giving referrals?